This is our winter solstice message today, the longest night of the year. We welcome you. We call to you. We honor you. We welcome you. Enter the center where all is one. All are welcome, all is one. Enter the center where all is one. All are welcome, all is one. Global tribal spirit diversity, our circle embraces all universally. Enter the center where all is one. All are welcome, all is one. Enter the center where all is one. All are welcome, all is one. Buddhist, Muslim, Christian, pagan, Jew, we welcome you, we honor you, and all you do. Enter the center where all is one. All are welcome, all is one. Enter the center where all is one. All are welcome, all is one. Techno, retro, straight or queer, yogi, mahatma, holy roller, rock and roller, rainbow, rasta. Enter the center where all is one. All are welcome, all is one. Enter the center where all is one. All are welcome, all is one. So find yourself a rhythm, meditate and trance. Lose yourself, find yourself, sing, laugh, dance. Enter the center where all is one. All are welcome, all is one. Enter the center where all is one. All are welcome, all is one. We call to you. We honor you. We welcome you. Welcome.
Thank you, Jori. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, spirited good morning to everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Fayetteville. My name is Renée Janski, and I'm your music director here. UUism is an awesome, liberal, free from dogma spiritual tradition. Born in the 16th century Transylvania, becoming our official UU body in the US in the 1960s. UUs were and are called heretics by many narrow-minded folks, but little did they know how right they were. The word heresy comes to us from the Greek, and it means choice. That's right, choice. We choose our own spiritual paths. UUs believe in choosing our own path so hard that we set it in stone in our fourth principle, the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We find this truth and meaning in many different sources and traditions. Today, we seek to honor our earth-centered pagan source of wisdom with a winter solstice service. And deeper still, there are bamillions of different winter solstice traditions, beginning before we could even write. We weave as best we can on Zoom our congregation's own winter solstice traditions together with new info on an old subject. Melly brings us Nordic solstice understanding of longest night. Welcome to our winter solstice ritual. Now, y'all, money is tight for our church right now. If you can give extra, please do. And money is, frankly, scarce for many in our community. Our minister's discretionary fund tries to help. If you have extra, consider giving extra to our discretionary fund so that we may give to those in need in our community. You can find all of these different ways to donate at uufayetteville.org. Okay. Invocation. So this is a piece by Judith Laura, and when it says here, our great mother, she's speaking of the earth or of the universe. You pick. Hear our great mother, robed in midnight, around whose head shines all the suns and moons of the universe, as she speaks to us, saying, "Blessed is the darkness, for in the darkness we conceive. Blessed is the light, for in the light we give birth. As conception is to birth, so darkness is to light. Know that both the darkness and the light, the sound and the silence, are sacred unto me, who is all creation." Now, normally at the beginning of any pagan ritual, we call the directions, we honor deities, we cast a circle. Why? In a pagan's own seeking of sources, we try to literally be open to information and wisdom from any direction. We listen for teachings from many different deities or teachers or natural wonders, and we seek to feel safe, protected, and open as we do this. So here we go. Now you can remain seated, you may stand, you may acknowledge directions any way you choose. We begin in the east towards the rising sun. The element of the east is air. Air gives us breath and life. It is the direction of inspiration, the word that literally means to take in air. The east is associated with the mind, with knowledge and learning, with intellectual curiosity. Imagine the birds turning and wheeling in the sky. Imagine a breeze blowing through your hair or scalp. Acknowledging the east, we look for a fresh start, an invigorating breath, a new idea. When you're feeling stuck in a rut, beholden to a routine, or if the wind has gone out of your sails, look eastward. The element of the south is fire. Fire is a transformative force. It is heat and light and powerful change. In the northern hemisphere, it makes sense that we associate south towards the equator with the warmth of the sun. We see the birds move south, the butterflies move south, the whales move south, seeking warmer places when the weather gets cold. When we need action, we look to the south. When we are seeking out the changes that will warm us up and get our blood moving, call us out of our doldrums, out of hibernation into action, we look to the south. Continuing around the circle, here's the south. Continuing around the circle, we arrive in the west. The element of the west is water. We have a water element in our service every single week for joys and concerns. symbolizing the way we come together in our community as individual drops join into a mighty river. In the West, we're drawn into the experience of our emotions. It's a direction that calls us into self-reflection and self-understanding. Our emotions move in us like water, flowing through our lives, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, but always flowing. When we dam up our feelings, just like when we dam up a river, the pressure builds until it finds an outlet. If you're seeking to get in touch with your inner life, with your emotions, turn to the West. We now move towards the North. The element of the North is earth. There is stability here, the ground of our being. The North represents the place that holds us, that allows us time and space to heal and grow, to feel nurtured and respected. It is also the place of embodiment, of connecting our physical self with the concrete, tangible world around us. The North calls to you if you are seeking balance, if you are seeking rest, if you are seeking your inner wisdom. We have moved through these four directions, given them shape and meaning. The East, air, breath, and inspiration. The South, fire and action. The West, water and reflection. And the North, earth and wisdom. Now, I invite you to turn towards the direction that seeks out to you today. You can stay in your seat, you can stand, you can turn your head, your whole body, you can gesture. But one of these directions might feel right today. The element that speaks to you and what you need right now. So this is our version of calling in the directions. Let's pause for a moment to breathe it in. Turn off your thinking mind and just listen. Coming back now. Who has taught you the most in your life? One person, two persons, three persons, lots of people. We invite into our circle the energy of our teachers, human and not human, our ancestors that we know and those that we don't know. So who are those top 3 or 5 or more teachers in your life? Invite that wisdom in the circle with you today. It is as simple as the phrase, I am open to new ideas and understanding. Let's pause to honor and invite in our teachers, ancestors, and deities. Coming back now, and to create our circle virtually, take a moment to look at your screen. Take a moment to look at all the different people here today, even if it's just their nameplates. Take a look. This is our winter solstice ritual circle today. And I am certain right now that all of us are free and safe within this circle to explore thoughts and ideas, free to go inside ourselves and wander about, safe to experience the darkness and mystery within and without. What a beautiful circle we are, our UUFF community here today, our circle. So now we sing about it for a minute. We're not going to go fast. We're just opening things up. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. Okay. Our opening reading today is from one of my favorite poets, Patricia Monahan. This book is called Seasons of the Witch. It's a great book. This piece is called Night. A great black cloak around my shoulders, all shadowy comfort. Shapes dissolving into each other. Enormity of small things. The movement of a clock's hand, the stirring of a curtain in a breeze, a timber creaking, someone breathing. The space between silences. I walk through the sleeping house, half wakeful, half in a dream. I stand by the dark window, looking at the garden, sleeping under snow. I feel the past write itself on the dim walls. I see the future cloud in the sky. I have no shape, no outline. The most peace I know, not feeling less monotony, not bliss ignorance, not blind hope, but standing in this certain place and time, feeling my shadow etch itself on the glass, knowing there will be others afterwards who sense my distant presence, knowing I am charged with the passions of those who went before me. All their shadows fall upon the glass, forming the shape of my body. I could reach through the glass. I could walk through the glass. In an instant, I would be light. I would be light. I could do that. But this night, I stay in shadow, comforting shades, presence, peace, the silence between spaces, the enormity of small things. Now, normally at this point in the service, we would light our chalice. But today, we will pause in the darkness. Melly, why is it during the longest night celebration that we focus on the dark?
during the longest night, we have the opportunity to take advantage of darkness instead of being pressured to be our brightest selves. We're going to take advantage of our opportunity to be present in the darkness.
Yes. So, moving in that direction, Jori, will you lead us in a winter solstice chant?
This is deep, deep, deep. I will sing the melody, which is kind of a drone, and then the harmony, and then come back to the melody. Deep, deep, deep into the heart of the winter. Deep, deep, deep into the womb of the mother. Deep, deep, deep where there is no other. Song of the song of my soul. Deep, deep, deep into the heart of the winter. Deep, deep, deep into the womb of the mother. Deep, deep, deep where there is no other. Song of the song but my soul. Deep, deep, deep into the heart of the winter. Deep, deep, deep into the womb of the mother. Deep, deep, deep where there is no other. Song of the song of my soul.
Take a moment to breathe. Let's let the thinking mind quiet and open up. Whatever you call the instinct mind, the intuitive mind, free mind. Take a deep breath. A few more deep breaths. Be fascinated by your breaths, your inhalations, exhalations. What a wonder you are to be able to breathe like this. If you're in a spot where you can, ground your feet into the floor. Feel the feet. Feel the ground. Focus on this area. Our feet are like our roots. Feel the energy in your feet ground down deeper into the earth, like the roots of a tree. Quiet mind. Fascinating breath. The roots of all of our trees intermingle just like the trees of the forest, connecting us in our beautiful circle, within a circle, within a circle, within a circle. Deep breaths now. One more. Oh, blessed, blessed be. Jori, will you lead us, O Dark Mother?
We sing to the Dark Mother and to our hearts, which we feel but we can't see, so we have to go inward. Oh, Dark Mother, lead me inward, down to the cave of my heart. Oh, Dark Mother, lead me inward, down to the cave of my heart. Oh, Dark Mother, lead me inward, down to the cave of my heart. Oh, Dark Mother, lead me inward, down to the cave of my heart. Down to the cave of my heart. Down to the cave of my heart.
Thank you. That was beautiful, Jori. This time of year, astrologically, we are more and more in darkness. But you couldn't tell it by walking down city streets. Our lives and calendars are filled with light. There's holiday lights on every corner, bright displays and windows, religiously everyone everywhere searching for lights. The return of the sun, the birth of the Christ child, the miraculous burning oil of Hanukkah. In this time of year when dark and cold is upon us, it's to be expected that the coming of light is our thing to celebrate. But today we're looking at the other side, the darkness. Humans are obsessed with light. We follow it, we create it, we find different ways to make it, to fill our homes and our lives with light all the time. But that's not really something that we need. In 1994, after a pre-dawn earthquake cut power to most of Los Angeles, the Griffith Observatory received phone calls from frightened residents. They were asking about the strange sky. Those callers didn't realize that they were seeing the stars. Kelly Whitt, in an article from Earth Sky, writes about their experience traveling far from city lights and seeing the heavens from a place of darkness. She says, a brilliant orange Mars was bright enough to wash out the stars around it, yet the lush Milky Way held her own, and 1,000 normally unseen stars twinkled in chorus. For the first time ever, I witnessed the fuzzy oval glow of the Andromeda galaxy with nothing more than my eyes. I saw star clusters dig out patches of sky and anchor their surroundings instead of having to hunt them down with binoculars. The incursion of artificial light into the natural darkness of our planet has startling and sometimes devastating effects on the world around us. One is hatching sea turtles. As coastal lighting becomes more and more continuous, turtle populations dwindle as hatchlings, emerging under the safe cover of night, become confused by the artificial light near the coasts, and instead of following the dim shine of the ocean, they turn and go toward the brighter natural lights, exactly the opposite direction of the way that would truly lead them home. Efforts have been made to black out the side of lamps that face the sea in order to prevent this. The lights are bright, but they're not true. There are times when, in our desire to find something bright, we turn toward whatever is shiniest, even when it's false. The dazzling light blinds us to the realities of what's around us, and we are drawn away from the dimmer, fainter, but deeper and protective arms of our home. Darkness, from a scientific and academic perspective, is crucial to the functioning of our natural world. The hunting, feeding, and breeding activities of wild animals and fish are tied to dark rhythms. Birds, particularly those that eat flying insects, suffer from the effects of light pollution. Insects affected by false lights in the night can congregate and become easy prey for those birds. They suffer losses due to interruption of their normal habits. Plants evolved to use the seasonal cues of changing day and night lengths to fit their annual development to the appropriate seasons. So light pollution can prevent them from using those cues. They're compromised or prevented in their development, particularly in their preparation for winter, and can be affected to the point that they're unable to even survive seasonal changes. So we know that regular darkness is integral to the functioning of our natural environment. Scientists from many varying fields of study have written about moments where simply being in the presence of darkness allows them to see and understand more about what they're studying. On the mundane side, recently my daughter had an optometrist appointment. Upon entering the exam room, I was struck by the dimness of the space. Other medical places are brightly lit. This room is darkened to allow the optometrist to see inside her eyes, into the space normally closed up and hidden. In my home, we celebrate modern Nordic pagan traditions. Like many non-Abrahamic faiths, most of our traditions are relatively new. We've had to create them after the fact, since no records of the practices exist. Unitarian Universalists can relate, not having many traditions unless we make them ourselves. But one rather new tradition we enjoy in our household is called sun wait. Mechanically, it works similarly to Christian Advent or UUFF or other measured candle lighting celebrations like Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. We light candles on specific days for a period of time with representative meanings attached to them. For sun wait, we light 6 candles, one each week on Thursdays, leading up to longest night. They correspond to runic inscriptions, which we read, and the week following, we think about that meaning. But you may have noticed that the longest night this year isn't on a Thursday. So after our last candle is lit, then what? We have several days before longest night. What do we do in the meantime? And what do we do on longest night if we've already lit all our candles? This isn't the problem, because our celebration of the sun returning isn't the same as our celebration of the night. The sun will return. The light will be upon us, but longest night is about the darkness, not the light. There's a feeling this time of year of having to actively and almost aggressively drive away the still and dark with loudness and activity and lots of lights. But what happens if we take a different tack and appreciate all that the darkness has to offer? Mystery, quiet, comfort, rest. There's a Scandinavian concept called hygge. The closest English translation is cozy, but the feeling is more encompassing than that. It's about being warm and comfortable and still and slow. It's about letting the rush and the bustle cease and settling into a space of ease and comfort. Blankets, cups of hot cocoa or coffee or mulled wine or cider, reading books, talking quietly and deeply, spending time with small crafts that we don't make time for in more loud and rowdy circumstances. In contrast to many holiday celebrations and observances, Longest Night is typically a quiet, closed, small group event, a home and the people in it. In our homes on Longest Night, we have the opportunity to spend more time bundled up with our families and ourselves, with our own minds, looking inward. We remind ourselves that we have our own lives and we share them with the people closest to us. And sleeping. Sleep in the physical sense is vital for recharging and resting our bodies, but spiritual rest is just as important. The holiday season can be exhausting. Burnout is real, and this year, new challenges have made it even more difficult. Without even having in-person parties and gatherings in the mix, we're pressured and pushed into being connected as much as we can in ways that we're not used to. Longest Night can give us a chance to rest our tired and weary minds, to sleep our souls, to be wrapped in the darkness and not fight it, and to recharge ourselves for the brighter days ahead. Sometimes it can feel as if we are in a darkness that is whole and oppressing. But these night sky views can give us a chance to know more and expand our wonder. If we wait just a moment to adjust to the lack of the blinding brightness we've become accustomed to, we can see things that have been obscured for weeks, months, even years. In the dark of winter, we do the same. Our hearts and souls can open like the pupils of our eyes in a dim room, seeing faint lights that have been hidden by the brighter bursts of a few. Sometimes our more involved and pressing drives and activities can block our progress in other interests that may be a little less pushy. When we have the pause created by the dark and stillness, we have the gift of seeing more than just what's the brightest and boldest. We have the opportunity to appreciate the smaller lights and give them time and space to take over just for a little while and wash our lives with their gentle and persistent presence, like the collected stars of the Milky Way. Comfort, introspection, rest. It seems like a lot for one night, and it is. Maybe that's why it's the longest one. This year, today is the solstice. And this year, our day has 9 hours and 42 minutes of light. The remaining time, I'll do the math for you, is 14 hours and 18 minutes. 14 hours and 18 minutes to settle into the blanket of night. 14 hours and 18 minutes to let our lives dim and look and see into the shadows that are usually hidden. 14 hours and 18 minutes, not to mourn the shortest day, but to celebrate and live in the longest night with each other and with ourselves. If you have a chance tonight, after the sun sets at 5:06 local time, maybe turn down the lights in your home. If you have a holiday tree, see how much you can do just by the illumination of that cluster of tiny lights. Maybe light candles, not too many. Maybe read books together and talk quietly and deeply with the people in your home or in your heart home by way of phone or computer. Maybe go out and look at the stars. Maybe let your soul take a much needed nap. And maybe we can see more in the darkness than the light can even shine on. Jori, will you please lead us in deep, deep again?
I've dimmed all the lights. I'm looking forward to the darkness. Deep, deep, deep into the heart of the winter. Deep, deep, deep into the womb of a mother. Deep, deep, deep where there is no other song but the song of my soul. Deep, deep, deep into the heart of the winter. Deep, deep, deep into the womb of the mother. Deep, deep, deep where there is no other song but the song of my soul. Deep, deep, deep into the heart of the winter. Deep, deep, deep into the womb of the mother. Deep, deep, deep where there is no other song but the song of my soul.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Melly. Thank you, Jori. Thank you, everyone. Melly, do you have any last words, or would you like me to go ahead and finish things up?
I'll say one more thing about looking inside, and especially about our chalice. Our chalice for our Unitarian Universalist congregation, I feel shouldn't be used as a guiding light that we must follow. Instead, it's a representation of our own lights that we have to build, create, and uphold together. So in this dark space, look at your own chalice and see what fire you want to build there.
Thank you, Melly. Thank you. Thank you. And we thank all of the teachers and ancestors, and we thank all of the directions. And we know that as we go out, our circle is open, but y'all, it's not broken. So, our final reading by Julie Middleton. It was the longest night. People gathered from near and far, in small groups and in large, to share their fears and grief and the darkness in their hearts. A year like no other this was, testing us beyond what we'd ever imagined. Day after day, week after week, we found ourselves growing and becoming sturdy because there was no other choice. And the solstice fire was lit, and the candles were passed, and the light of the new year's dawning lifted our heavy hearts and brought us brightness and hope. So a little bit of mention at the light there at the end, but Melly's right. We're going to focus on the darkness all the way. Okay, and with that, Jori, will you give us a postlude? We can sing along with this with you, right, sis?
Yes, please. Oh, dark mother, lead me inward down to the cave of my heart. Oh, dark mother, lead me inward down to the cave of my heart. Oh, dark mother, lead me inward down to the cave of my heart. Oh, dark mother, lead me inward down to the cave of my heart. Down to the cave of my heart. Down to the cave of my heart.
Perfect way to end that, Jori. Perfect. Oh, okay, y'all.